Coming to you, undead from the crypt, this is Adelaide Horror Podcast. Adelaide Horror Podcast with Zombie Joe.
Hi and welcome to the Adelaide Horror Podcast. This is your host Zombie Joe, and today's episode is number 25, and it is season 3 and the first episode for 2022. So welcome back. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you had a great Christmas as well, and you had a good little holiday break, and back into 2022 and looking forward to a lot of current horror films that will be coming out throughout the year. Which I'm pretty excited about. Some of them I'm a bit nervous about, like whether it's going to be good or not, but the majority are pretty good, and looking forward to it. So it's going to help 2022 go past quicker again, like it did last year. So today's episode really isn't a themed one. I'm not going to review one major thing and then look at other movies connected with it. It's just going to be a run review of what 2021 was about, and some of my favorite highlight horror films that came out of that, and TV shows that came out as well. So just a brief look at all these different movies that came out that I really liked, and I hope you enjoyed them too. And yeah, and I'm just going to talk about what the films that are coming up for this year and what I'm excited to see. So yeah, cool. So last year in around December, I took a break just for my work picked up quite a bit. So I took the break for that month, and also just to be able to gather up some other horror films I hadn't managed to watch yet. So then I could do a final kind of tally list of what I wanted to look at and what got the recommendation from me. So for Christmas, I checked out Advent Calendar, or Le Calendar. I don't know how to pronounce that too well. In Belgium, I think Belgium and French are kind of the same, but I don't want to get that wrong. So I might be wrong on that one, so apologies. But yeah, so Advent Calendar is the English title for us that we got it. That was on Shudder. So it was definitely recommend for me for the Christmas movie for this year. I usually go back and I watch, Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night and stuff, and that's my fun movies that I watch over Christmas, and Die Hard. So these are my Christmas movies that I check out. But I was kind of like, I hope there was something a bit different to come out this year for Christmas, and Advent Calendar kind of answered that call. In the sense of taking the Advent Calendar, which and then changing it to something pretty scary. So and I really dug that. I thought that was a great concept. They did it really well, and yeah, it was generally creepy in some bits, very gory. And it was quite fast paced. It didn't take ages for it to build up again. Like, it kind of backed off a little bit and then it sped back up again. So the pacing was really good. You weren't kind of feeling tempted to look at your phone. There was a lot of movies this year that fell into that category that I was excited to watch, and I call them the 3/4 movies, because I literally made it 3/4 of the way through and got bored shitless, and I started looking at my phone. At one stage I stopped and started to do my financial planning for the year. So that's kind of a bad thing. Me and maths aren't that great. For me to sit down and start going, okay, what do I want to save for this year? Fuck, that's not great if you want that in the middle of a film. So I thought that was quite interesting that one movie made me do that. So yeah, it was just the way it is. And I thought, geez Louise, I was kind of getting a little bit worried, because I thought there's not a lot of films really that are rocking my boat. So I was kind of getting a bit worried, and then a couple of other gems kind of popped out, and I was kind of a little bit relieved. So Advent Calendar was the Christmas movie for me for last year. Definitely check out. It was written and directed by, I will just get the name up here, Patrick Revamping. And it just follows Eva, and she gets a advent calendar from her friend. And Eva's paraplegic. She was a ballet dancer. Due to a car accident, she became paraplegic quite recently in the film. So where we're up to in the movies, that it's happened to her, and she's still kind of getting out of that. And so she gets an advent calendar to kind of cheer her up, and it's this mysterious thing that she's seen. It's a little bit dark, a little bit gothic. It's a German-made advent calendar, so it speaks to her in German. So now I know how to say it's midnight in German. I don't know how that's going to affect me later on in life, but it's a little fun, useless thing that I can do now amongst the other ones. So yeah, that made it creepy too, because you're like, oh my god, what's next? So each day you kind of follow something happening and something gory occurring, and like I said, the pacing's good and it just builds up the whole entire time. So definitely recommend as a Christmas movie. If you have not watched it, whack it on this year for Christmas. I'll be doing that for sure. So let's rewind back to the start kind of 2021, and you had the classic horror story, which was the Italian movie that I reviewed with Blood Red Sky. And these are the two foreign movies of the year that with Advent Calendar that kind of impressed me. So 2021 in review, there was a few international films that did really well, and also a local horror film, a TV show started. So that was kind of the highlights for this year, which is good. So yeah, like I said, classic horror story from Italy. It started as one thing and ended as another. It was really impressive. If you want the full detailed review of it, go back through the episodes, and I'll talk about it there. But it's the episode with Blood Red Sky as well that I interviewed. The second one, funnily enough, is Blood Red Sky, the German kind of well, not really. Yeah, German but it's got English cast in it, so kind of it's an international movie, and that's a kind of a retelling of a vampire a story as well, which really impressed me. And yeah, so it started out again as one movie and kind of ended as another, or I like to call it the Vampiric Die Hard 2. It's kind of reminded me of that. So we have Blood Red Sky, which was co-written and directed by Peter Thoroth and Stephen Holtz. Really well written and directed. It was a great paced film. Like, you really got invested with the mum and the son. So when the bad stuff starts to occur and her maternal instinct starts to also blend with her vampirism, you're kind of in for a bit of a treat. So that was definitely one of the crackers for the year. And hence why I ended up starting to call this episode the Revamping of the Vamp, because funnily enough, 2021, that's what it was. Like, I don't know if it was intentional, but some of the best stuff that actually came out was vampire themed, but they took the vampire lore and added their own kind of retelling and twists and little things in here and there, and that's what I really dug about it. So that's what really 2021's reflection was for me. Some really great vampire stuff came out, and a little bit outside of the coffin. So that's why I dug it and why I got my attention and why I'm going to talk about it. So Blood Red Sky. The other one that kind of came out at that point, and I'm kind of going with how they were released, was Halloween Kills. This was my first horror film that I saw at the cinema, and I was definitely going to be doing that. I didn't give a shit. I was like, if I have to dress up like the fucking Beastie Boys in a full hazmat suit in order to go and see this movie at the cinema, so be it. It was going to happen. And so, because you have to see it at the cinema, there's no other way of seeing it. So, yeah, absolutely. It was a great movie. It was a great double adapter film. And what I mean by that is it's part 2 of a 3-movie block. It's going to have an opening and it's going to have an open ending. So it's a continue on to number 3. So it did what it had to do. It kind of, built us up ready for 3. And it just, how it kind of started, how it ended. was really well done. Yeah, look, there was a lot of people that kind of banged on a little bit about Michael C. Hall, whether they liked him or not. I kind of got what they were trying to do with him, and the kind of one, it's like, just because you survive something as a kid doesn't mean you grow up to be not annoying. This is the first one. Two, the writers, the social commentary. This is just me. The social commentary that I figured they were trying to do was Michael C. Hall, when he was saying "evil dies tonight" is something that is happening in the world now that we all know about, and we get fucking smashed over our head every day with it. So I don't have to say it here. That he keeps repeating that, and then there's a group of people that believe that theory as well, and they start getting on board, and before you know it, you've got this mass mob of people not physically going around attacking things, but attacking people online and all that kind of stuff. And that's how I felt what this was trying to say. It was trying to get us to look at, hey, this is how we are now. We're all hunting down the Michael, but not really thinking about what we're doing to other people. And if the person's the wrong person, everyone kind of piles onto the wrong person. So that's kind of my take on what they were trying to do with that. But they just used a horror film, like many other horror films, as their social commentary of a current issue that's occurring. And that's kind of what I got from that. But that aside, fantastic movie. To see Michael on the big screen again, how they managed to do some earlier kind of 70s look stuff, like at the start of the film, and how they did Loomis as well. And I just thought that was really well done, and I dug it. I thought it was really good. So I can't wait to get that on DVD and watch it at home. It's going to be good. It's going to be even better this year when we get it, and then the following year in 2023, when I'm sure the box set would come out, 1, 2, and 3, and then just doing one massive sitting of Halloween 1, 2, and 3, one after another. That would be brilliant. So I think that's kind of my aim for Halloween 2023 for sure. So hopefully that's going to happen. But yeah, looking forward to it. Cool. So then Jacob's Wife came out with Barbara Crampton, and so like I said, this was another vampire story that was kind of done outside of the coffin of the vampire lore. And what I mean by that is just kind of how they mucked around with the concept of who the master would be, and the kind of appearance of the master. And then just the behaviour of Barbara as she was turning. And there seemed to be this, if you put it on the scale of, Jacob's Wife to 30 Days of Night, the vampire scale of zero, cold-blooded killer, I've been bitten and now I'm just going to rip your throat out, or the slow, Jacob's Wife, where Barbara Crampton is slowly turning and fighting the internal kind of changes that this kind of vampirism is making her do. So I kind of dug that, how they did that. So that's definitely a recommend for me. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go out and check it out. It is great. Barbara Crampton had quite a year in 2021. She was kind of in a lot of stuff. She got busy, and it's great that she's back and she's taking a lot of jobs and jumping in and getting all that stuff. And also Felissa Rose as well is kind of jumping in with a lot of movies as well. I've kind of seen her in the radar, kind of jumping back in, and it's really, really good, and it's great to see. So that's good too. The other vampire one that kind of came out as well, there's 2 TV shows, or 3 TV shows. So you got Chapel Wait, with Adrian Brody. That is the prequel to Salem's Lot. Really, really great. I really dug this. When I found that this was the prequel to Salem's Lot, it really got my attention. So it's how it all came about. And fantastic show. So if you're a massive fan of Salem's Lot, you're going to really dig this one. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely get on it. It's a definite recommend from me. Then you've got Midnight Mass, which was another really well done TV show. And that's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, oh man, like when the telling of this, how it's kind of the vampires and angels kind of angle where they went with this one was really good. So definite recommend on this one. The whole play on the Midnight Mass, which is essentially what you do at Christmas time, but the play on that, like just the title, the play on the title, but the play on the actual mass itself was really well done. I really dug that. I thought that was really good and quite clever. And again, outside the coffin. So that's why I dug it as well. It was really good how they managed to do that. The other one that came out after that was Firebite, and this is the current one that I just saw on Amazon Prime, and it's a South Australian horror vampire show. The episodes come out weekly, so they're still in the midst of being released as I talk about this, so I can't go into too massive of a depth about it. It's got a great local cast. And yeah, it's set in Cooper Pedy. Now, if you're someone not from Adelaide or from overseas and you're watching this, so Cooper Pedy's an open mining town. So there's a lot of open mines on the ground, and everyone lives under the ground because the heat is so intense on top. It's just so hot. You have to live underground. So when this TV show premise came about and I started to look at it, I thought, fuck, this is brilliant, right? Then you check in the Indigenous angle on this one. So you have the primary cast is Indigenous, which I thought was fantastic. The fact that they've got this Indigenous horror show, how the Indigenous communities are dealing with vampirism, it was fantastic. And then how they go about hunting this thing down that has been around since colonization, and they talk about the colonization and they chuck a vampire angle at it, and I thought that was really good. And again, like I said, thinking outside the coffin, and it totally got my vote. Like, I was really invested with this. It's well written, yeah, and just how it's going, it's really got my attention, and I'm really very keen to see how this ends. So that's a definite recommend for me as well. And well done. I thought this is really great, and I'm really excited because this is kind of outside of Cargo. Like, Cargo at the end was kind of looking at how the Indigenous people were dealing with the zombie issue in Cargo, and I kind of feel that from Cargo onwards, the shift is now involving more Indigenous actors in horror, and involving more like having more stronger Indigenous characters like running the show. And in this one here, it's like Firebite is an Indigenous horror TV show, which is fantastic. So I'm really stoked that this has happened, and yeah, I'm looking forward to many more as the year goes in. So absolutely cool. The other ones that kind of popped out as well throughout the year was the Fear Street saga. I covered that with Matt, who's the king of Goosebumps, swap and shop down at Port Adelaide, and also the collector, and that's Scott from Skullbrain TV. And we got together because we all three of us like Goosebumps. We're massive kind of R.L. Stine fans. We got together. It's in a couple of the episodes. If you look it up, it's there. We did the kind of unintentional 2-hour episode of talking about R.L. Stine, and we'd kind of break down all three of the TV show, the kind of TV show / movie specials. But like, yeah, so yeah, that was one of the highlights as well for 2021, was the Fear Street saga, and talking about which one kind of stuck with us and how all three were kind of interconnected. So, and it was really well written. It was great paced. I like how it all tied up at the end. Initially, there's some bits where you watch 1 and 2 and you kind of go, where's this going? And then 3 kind of ties it all up, which is great. I was kind of worried it wasn't, but then it ended really well and it ended solid. So I was kind of relieved by that, and hence why I'm happy to recommend for you to check it out. So yeah, that's Fear Street 1, 2, and 3, and that's on Netflix. You can get them on there as well. So the other one that popped out for me as a bit of a surprise was Chucky. Now, I was super nervous when I saw this because I saw the Chucky movie and I was not a fan of it because, to quote Mike Murderer, it's Michael Myers, that character, the Scottish guy, going, it's an orange on a toothpick. That's kind of really what Chucky looked like. It's a fucking huge head. It was massive. And I just loathed it. Chucky for me is the Chucky in the 80s, like the smallish doll that was just terrifying. Fucking not this giant thing that just, oh my god. Anyway, moving on quickly. So the Chucky in this one is normal sized, and it's great to see the kind of the retelling and the adapting for the new audience now. So for the older fogies like me, we just got to kind of sit back and go, this is how the young'uns are telling it. Like, and I don't mind this version. I think it's okay. Like, I don't hate it. And it is what it is. And I don't love it either because Chucky, the first one, is my favorite, and that's it. And that's just me because that was my reality as a kid. I was 12 when it came out. And it spooked the shit out of me then, and I dug it, and that's why that Chucky's my Chucky, you know what I mean? But the younger kids now, they're going to get into this one, and that's fantastic, and I'm excited because then they watch this, they go, wow, Child's Play, shit, okay, let's watch the original Child's Play, and hopefully that this TV show will then get them into the old stuff. So, yeah, fantastic. So that's how I feel about that. So definitely check out the TV series. Look, it's on Channel 9 here in Australia. Like, you can get it on the 9 Now app to watch. That's how I've been checking them out. I'm sure at one stage it should be released on DVD in a box set or something that you'll be able to get. And I'll definitely be getting that and adding it to the kind of the Chucky possessed doll section that I have in my collection. So yeah, that's a definite recommend for me as well. So for me also, coming out this year, some newer horror films that came out. So to complete the other horror stuff for the vampire was The Boys of County Hell. Now this came across my radar, but I wasn't able to watch it when it came out because it wasn't released yet. There was nothing for me to check it out on. And then recently I managed to check it out and I was like, right, this is definitely making my list. For me, this is the vampiric version of Shaun of the Dead. Like, it's the Irish equivalent to that. So the British did a horror, a comedy, zombie comedy. The Irish have done a vampire comedy. It's a dark comedy. The gore's pretty decent. The reason why it's made it the thinking outside the coffin aspect of this is the simple fact of how this this master kind of thing worked. First of all, it's like a Gaelic chieftain that is kind of down with this, is the vampire in this one. And so they've made him, just the prosthetics, like how they made him look was really, really good. You don't see this guy, right? This is an hour and 15-minute movie. No shit. You don't see him until like the hour and 10. Like, it's just this build-up the whole entire time. How the people are getting affected, how the people are getting attacked. And then you see him, like, right at the end. So I really dug that, how they really left it to the last thing to actually see him. And it kind of is a bit scary when you see him. Not terrifying, but creepy enough. It does the job. It does the job. So yeah, definitely a recommend for me. Irish humor style, it gets a bit scary. They chuck a bit of humor in, it kind of throws it off. The gore was phenomenal, and the sheer fact of how you get drained is amazing. How the blood is drained in this film, I've never thought of it. I never would have seen this thing coming a mile off, and then it started to happen, and I thought that is just genius. Like how clever! Like that was really well done, and well done the writers for that one. That was brilliant. Brower and Brendan Mullen. So yeah, really well done. These guys done a great job in that retelling. So definitely recommend for me for sure. Cool. The other kind of VHS 94 was the other one that kind of jumped out this year. There's a couple of stories in this one that was good. One, look, it's an anthology. You're going to get one that's not that fantastic. There was one, it didn't really do it. I mean, it had the gore and all that kind of stuff, but I was kind of checking my phone through this one. The one that really got my attention was the Storm Drain, the first one, the Wake one in the funeral home, and the third one was the final one, which is the Subject, and that's the Indonesian one. Just like the first VHS that had that Indonesian thing about the cult, like this was the man. There's something about the Indonesians doing horror films, but the Indonesians doing gore, like when it's a person wailing on someone else with a weapon, or how they get cut, or how they slash someone, or like it is phenomenal, and you are feeling it. Like I'm like, oh, like I was wincing, like, and like I like my gore. But man, there's just something about the Indonesians, like golf clap, like they just know how to do the gore and really how to make you wiggle. Even if you like gore, you're just gonna go, oh my god, like that. You're like, you can feel it, like it's insane. So definitely check out on these three stories. So VHS 94 was pretty good, considering like these have been bouncing around for a while. I think this is like the fourth one in the kind of series of VHSs. So yeah, definitely check VHS 94 out. So it's a bit of a combination, actually, I think, of if I'm not, yeah, there's a whole bunch of writers. Okay, so you got three directors on this one. So you've got Simon Barrett, Stephen Kostansky, and Cole O'Connor, and then you got Jennifer Reeder, Simon Barrett, and Cole O'Connor was the writers for these. So definitely recommendation on checking this one out as well. So after this, the one that kind of really, I was like, whoa, okay, and I was kind of, this is what I was saying before, I was getting really worried because nothing was really jumping out at me at this point. And I was kind of getting a bit concerned that there wasn't going to be another really good 2021 film that I was going to dig. And the one that kind of jumped out and I wasn't ready for it and it really impressed me was The Deep House. And it was directed by, or co-directed by Alexandre Bustillo and Julien Marie. Also written by Alexander Bastilio, Julian David, and so he did the English screenplay adaptation, and then Julian Marie, and it talks about, it's like, so these YouTubers, they do like abandoned site investigations, and they get told of a place that was flooded. Like there was a valley that got flooded. It used to be a village. They flooded it to make a lake so then people could scuba dive and all that kind of stuff. And so they accept the challenge and they go down and they check the house out. But the house has got a history and it is haunted up the wazoo. So if you added the fact that everyone's floating, and because it's deep, it's not deep, but because it's like the light is pretty limited because it's underwater. So you add the camera, the torch light that's only illuminating a certain part of the area that you're using the torch light on. The rest of it is pitch black. So it adds to that kind of sinister kind of atmosphere. The music. and then, you know, something happens and they all scream and all you hear is this gurgling underwater. Like, it's just kind of, well, it kind of added that creepy element. I wasn't totally creeped out by this movie, but it kind of got my attention. I liked what they did with it. I liked the writing. Like I said, for a foreign movie, it was paced really well, and because that's always going to be a limitation if you're not used to reading a subtitled movie. So again, 2021 was really kind of the year for international films, like and that's purely because of what's going on, and America's kind of really getting pumped, like, because they're kind of limiting what they can release out, and you know, Netflix and Shudder's kind of releasing films kind of like the equivalent to straight to DVD films, that and then it's just a lot of hit and misses, like a lot of hit and misses. The stuff that seemed to come out a lot was these kind of, you know, home invasion films, or films where the person is on their own and the house is haunted, or a lady is by herself and she goes into the woods, or a couple goes into the woods into a cabin. I was reading the synopsis for a lot of these movies and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's the same film. There's like 10 movies that are exactly the same. So that's kind of why I veered off completely, not looking at those movies at all, because I thought, I'm just going to waste my time checking these films out because they're exactly the same. And so that's why I kind of avoided all of these and kind of started to really dig around elsewhere to try and find something else that was a bit not necessarily in the mainstream channel, but just something else that was a little bit different. So I'd like, and you're always going to find that in an international movie. They have to push the envelope because they've got to compete against Hollywood. And so these guys are used to being wiry, like kind of that wiry rabbit to get away from the fox. They've got to be more cunning when they have to write and how to do it. And that's why I really dug these international films that really kind of seem to kick a lot of goals this year. So if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend the Deep House. I was going to say the Deep Hole. That's not Shutter. It starts with a P, ends with a H. So yeah, definitely check out the Deep House. It's phenomenal stuff. It was really, really well done, and I was really chuffed that I managed to check that out. So that was good. Well, the favourite horror doco that came out this year. Now, Shudder came out with a couple. Now, the African American doco about horror, the Noir one, was really good. So that was a definitely check out for me. The one that kind of was Behind the Monsters. Now, this is kind of Shudder's version of the Netflix show, The Movies That Made Us. It's kind of the done in the thing. And it's a deep dive into the classic horror icons that we all grown to love, and a bit of a doco about them. So yeah, definitely check out. They talk about Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, Candyman. So definitely get in on those. It was pretty good. So I dug them as well. So that was my favourite horror doco for 2021. And now I'm going to move on to the upcoming movies for 2022. So this is kind of exciting. A little bit nervous for one. So hopefully it turns out pretty decent. So you've got Morpheus. Now, Morpheus is a Marvel film. I kind of say it's not going to be full-blown horror, but it's scary. It's going to be, it's a vampire thing, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be good. All of Us Are Dead from South Korea. Holy shit. Now, I saw the preview to this and I was like, oh my god, it's just like South Korea's going, yeah, you know, I made you feel comfortable about the kingdom. Check out Alive, #Alive. Don't check out #alone. That movie can go fuck itself. That's America grabbing the same movie, script for script, like scene for scene, just completely took it and then just made it Americanized. So then, you know, the Americans can watch a thing instead of watching a foreign movie with a subtitle. That just pissed me off. I just couldn't believe it. that I was thought, how lazy. So, and this movie's just twice as better. Hashtag alive.
1 hour later.
Right. But like, yeah, rant over. Like, this is why I don't do negative reviews, because I'll just, yeah, it's exactly the reason why I don't do it. So anyway, all of us are dead. South Korea is going to be another South Korean zombie film that's probably going to scare the shit out of us, because let's face it, Korean zombies are terrifying. There is some actors that were in Kingdom that are in this one, and I'm sure everyone that has been a stand-in zombie for Alive and Kingdom has been employed for this movie, and trained to Busan. Everyone got the job. Everyone's back on. You know. Guess what? They all got the phone call. Guess what, guys? You're back on. We've got a new Korean zombie film. I need you to be a zombie again. So everyone got a gig, so that's good. So yeah, definitely check out this one. It's coming out on the 28th of January, so in a couple of weeks this is going to be in. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, the other 2022 movie coming out is Scream. I'm seeing the posters now already on bus stops. The ones that I'm really looking forward to this one. The poster that I thought was shit, that I didn't like, was someone is the murderer on this one. Oh, for fuck's sake, stop spoiling. I managed, unfortunately, because I went to see Halloween, they had the preview for it, and the trailer, I'm like, fuck me, if this didn't spoil the film, I'm going to be really pissed off. Like, if it did it, because it just seemed a bit spoilery. If we've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. So you kind of, I'm like, well, fuck, I already know now how this is going to go for one person. So, because when you look at the trailer for the first one in 96, it didn't do that. Like, you didn't know a particular character was going to get murdered off, like, by this trailer. You only found out when the movie was on, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, so when it happened, you were surprised when it happened. And this one here, it's like you almost see it happen. I'm like, fucking hell! Like, can trailers stop doing that? And that's why I don't watch trailers anymore. I just refuse to watch them, because even though we do this thing now where it's like, it's spoiler free, or spoiler warning at least, and then you can, the previews aren't doing that now. They're just like, all the good bits in a film are thrown in, and then or you're seeing stuff that wasn't even in the film. I've noticed that a lot too. So that kind of sucks, and that's a bit disappointing. So I hope that is not the case for this Scream film, but I've got a sick feeling it will be. The fact that it's going back to Woodsboro is good. The house, Sydney's house in the background, I thought was great. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this one. This is going to be really, really good. So it's I've really been digging. Go on Google Images and type in the new Scream. All the artwork designs for these new ones that are coming out, they're so good, and they've gone back to kind of the 90s, but almost the 80s, how they've done it, like the artwork and stuff like that. Phenomenal stuff. Like, I just, man, hands to the artists that are doing that. It's it's really, really great. It's very, very cool. So I'm very excited, as you can tell. If you know me, I'm a big kid at heart. Hocus Pocus. When I saw that they're filming Hocus Pocus 2 at the moment, and so I am quietly squealing inside when I saw Hocus Pocus 2. So very much looking forward to this, and I believe it may be coming out in October. So I think we'll be getting it for Halloween. So very, very excited to see this one. So I'm not going to shy away from. I love it. I love the film. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. Terrifier 2. This is the one I'm a bit nervous about, because Terrifier, the first one, was just brilliance. Like, it's just horror, gory brilliance. I don't want them to fuck this one up, and I'm I'm nervous. I really am nervous about it, and I want to be proven wrong so bad. So please prove me wrong. I'll be delighted that you prove me wrong. So, but like I said, I'm a bit nervous about it, but we'll see how we go. You know, what can I do? And I'll be reviewing it when it comes out for sure. And then the last one is Halloween Ends. This is going to be. It's been the 1-2 punch already. This is going to be the KO hit, and I'm looking forward to this one. And hope it ties it up well. I've got all confidence in this one that it will be tied up very well. And I've got a record player for Christmas, so I have put in for the vinyls to get some vinyls going. So the Halloween soundtracks and all that are great because John Carpenter's been doing them. Oh man, I still do it now. I put it on Spotify. When I'm doing my writing and just having it playing in the background, it's just so the instrument. It's just so the mood it sets, but it's just so instrumental. It's just fantastic. Like he just does. He's a gem. He's an absolute gem. And as horror fans, how lucky are we that we still got John Carpenter around, fucking scaring the shit out of us with music, like of all things. Apart from his films, you know, the music is just, you know, right up there as well. So it's we've been lucky. So 2022 we've got some real kickers coming in, so I'm really happy about that. And as horror fans, we should be pretty excited that these are now coming in. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. Cool. So yeah, like I said, hope you enjoyed this episode. Yeah, just a brief recap of 2021, the revamping of the Vamp, I called it, episode. Yeah, so if you haven't seen any of these movies, definitely go and check these out. These were the recommends for me. I really enjoyed them. I hope you enjoyed them too. And I look forward to 2022 and all the new horror that's going to be coming out there. Yeah, for A.H.P, I've got some new episodes, new designs, new stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to sharing this year with you and reviewing stuff, and looking forward to hearing back from you guys and what you guys think, and what you want me to review, or if you want me to, if you've got a business or small or large, and you're into horror, you want me to promote your business or your product, and you're in the horror genre and you're an artist, you know, get in contact with me. I'd be more than happy to set up an interview, promote your product, but also talk about what horror films you like as well. And yeah, so looking forward to it. And yeah, cool. So stay scary. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the crypt.